Hi, this video is about how to win in the AI hype cycles. My name is David Hood and I'm CEO of 42 Robots AI, where we help organizations implement AI. So there's definitely a classic technology hype cycle that's going on with AI. There was an initial hype after ChatGPT came out, and a lot of people think we're in kind of part of the trough of disillusionment where a lot of people think, oh, it's not really quite what it's cracked up to be. So in this video, I'm going to try to break down some of what's real and what's not real, what's just hypey, along with give you some practical ways to move forward through the hype cycle so that you and or your business can actually effectively move forward. So there's going to be, I'll put links to several videos below that are very relevant. So let me get something right out of the gate clear. There is very real value from the latest AI technology. And the latest AI technology, I mean, is the modern large language models. So GPT-4 and Claude are the top ones, and then you also have Llama 3.1 and some other kind of open source ones. There is very real value there. There is also a lot of promoting fake value that is happening right now in the industry as well. So a lot of the big model companies are very incentivized to make them seem like they are more than they are. And then there's a lot of people doing a lot of hand waving on like, AGI God is coming, it's going to solve all world's problems, or it's going to take away all jobs. That to me is kind of nonsense as well. So I think this makes it really hard for someone who isn't, in the AI space day in and day out to know what's going on. So what hype is true and what's not true. And the reality is that a lot of the hype is not true, and then there's a lot of things that are valuable that are not obvious and not being talked about. So don't believe, here's some things that I want you to stay away from. So don't believe that AGI is close. Now again, this is such a broad, fuzzy definition for something, which is AGI or ASI, artificial superintelligence. To me, it's like an AI entity, or there's a variety of different ways to define this, but in general, like some sort of super intelligence that can do most of the things that humans can do and is generally at least as intelligent, or if not more intelligent than humans. There's other definitions that maybe it needs to self-improve, which large language models have not shown the ability to do at all. Even humans have not really been able to improve the fundamental technology of the transformers that these large language models are based on. It's about the same, basically the same 500 lines of code since it came out in 2017. So that should tell you a whole lot. There's another belief that OpenAI is pushing, and a lot of people, especially in Silicon Valley, are believing, which is that, don't try to solve problems because OpenAI is going to solve everything. GPT-7, GPT-X, or whatever is going to do all the things. This is a very unconvincing argument to me. Number one, I don't think that they're anywhere near being able to do that. LLMs have very serious limitations, and not everything should be built into it. Also, OpenAI has not really shown the ability to do anything other than build frontier models. Every other thing that they've tried has not worked, or at least has not worked well. The idea that they're going to have, even in a couple years, solve all the use cases for just about everybody with their model is, again, just so not reasonable at all. It's so false. There's just too much that they don't understand. I think that there's lots of systems issues with that, and that are not really very reasonably solvable within the framework that they're using. Some people say, oh, well, just give them time. And it's like, okay, but if it takes them 20 years, let's say we could know for sure 20 years from now, GPT-17 would solve everything. It could do everything. It could do all the use cases. Okay, well, that's still 20 years where you got to survive as a company, as a person, and everything. And so building things more specifically for your use cases in a more practical way is, to me, a much better strategy. And then you have the doomerism. You have the people, there's a guy out there who's like, bomb all the GPU clusters, all the data centers. Okay, well, he's maybe watched Terminator a few too many times. There's a lot of reasons why it's possible. Certainly there's a Pandora's box from technology here, but why it's much less, it's very unlikely that first of all, we won't have the AGI, I don't think, as soon as people, a lot of the techno-optimists, which I'm a techno-optimist in general, we're not going to have that really very soon. But even if we do have that, there's a lot of, when you study the technology, there's a lot of ways to kind of limit it, where you can naturally limit it and in ways that are pretty hard that seem like it might be impossible for it to get out of. Now, is that guaranteed? No. So I'm all for AI safety, but the idea that, oh no, AI is going to take over everything and kill us all or enslave us all is really not very feasible. The other part is, don't believe that just because there was some hype that there's no value here. There is real world value. There's a lot of people saying, it's just like, it's not really very useful. There's not much it can do. That's wrong too. So here are some lenses that you can use to help you navigate through the hype and do it and be able to actually do some winning. So really think about, what are the new capabilities that the modern large language models do for us? This was really helpful, and I see almost nobody doing this, which is really like breaking it down into, okay, what are some of the capabilities? What can it do now that we couldn't do before? Something really simple and obvious is text summarization. There's no algorithm to summarize text, but now with large language models you can. Sounds kind of trivial, but actually is an incredibly useful tool in a variety of different ways. But then also look at the lens of, what are the limitations of LLMs? And by the way, I have 2 videos that I'll link to below that do both these things. This is also useful to make sure you don't run down a false path, or when somebody says AI is going to do this, you can go, oh, well, but it's limited in this way. That doesn't really make sense. And then creating a long-term growth plan. There is real-world value here. It is growing. It's not growing as fast as I think some of the people want to think it is. It's kind of stabled, kind of leveled off a little bit. But it is something, as a person and as an organization, you need to struggle through with it. You need to go out and try to do it. Even if you fail the first 10 times, you have to keep at it. So there needs to be a plan for long-term growth. And this is where having a chief AI officer or a fractional chief AI officer, which we provide, would be really useful for your company or organization. By the way, if you have any comments about this, you disagree or agree, please leave a comment below. Please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it, and so would other people who need to hear this message. So also look at your critical business challenges. What are the things that are the biggest problems for you, the biggest time wasters, the biggest inefficiencies, the biggest opportunities? And this is going to help you, especially when you combine it with the new capabilities, to try to identify what could be done and where you can get the most value out of this quickly. Because you can get value out of large language models now. And it's there, but you have to think about it practically. So this is kind of funny. This is what so you have a lot of computer science nerds that are doing this basically. And there's some of this that is valuable, but to me, the way I see it is there needs to be a balance, and there's very little balance on this front. There is a ton of people spending a crap ton of money trying to shove everything into the LLM, or to make it just kind of like a bolt onto the LLM. And this is incredibly inefficient. And I've starred all the things that are kind of impractical perspectives. A lot of like computer science people and nerds, and I'm a nerd too, are seeing these as toys. They're going on the path that is interesting. They love these magic boxes and they're having fun with it. Great, that's fine. But let's not all go down that path, and let's actually do some more practical thinking, which is breaking down the problems into smaller pieces. Doing systems thinking, going kind of the reverse. How does solving this problem or the way we solve it, how does it affect the system as a whole? Being really honest about the true value to humans. There's a lot of stuff where people are like, I did this with OpenAI or ChatGPT or this AI model. But it's like, okay, so what? It doesn't really help anything. And then accepting that you're going to stumble. This is very important for your long-term plan. You're not going to do it right every single time, probably not even the first few times, or there's going to be some serious inefficiencies you're going to have to struggle through. And going back to a lot of the impracticality, I'll mention something I've mentioned before, but it bears repeating because there's a lot of this going on where basically you have, let's say, a PhD in computer science studying this stuff, where their brains start to go down the practical path and they stop themselves. Like I saw this on a podcast and I've seen this in a variety of other ways. And they go, nope, that's not fun. That's not interesting. I want to make this as hard as possible and solve the hardest problem possible, even if it takes me 20 years. And it's not really as practical as taking these new tools, LLMs, and using them in very practical ways. So that is my plan and strategy for winning. And I think if you approach this from a very practical angle, you study, kind of break down what LLMs can do, you ignore most of what the hype is, both on the positive and the negative side, and you really look at the true value to humans and try and how you can solve real world problems for yourself and your organization, then you should be able to win from AI. And if you want more help winning, please feel free to give us a call or click a link, and we'll go from there. Thanks. Have a great day.